When the Denver Nuggets signed Russell Westbrook this offseason, it felt like the perfect low-risk, high-reward move. The defending champs needed depth, veteran leadership, and a spark off the bench. Westbrook, he needed a fresh start, one last shot to prove he could still impact winning. At first, it looked like a match made in basketball heaven. Russ brought energy, playmaking, and relentless hustle. His connection with Nikola Jokić, surprisingly smooth. Their two-man game even carried the team at times. But as we inch closer to the playoffs, a looming question starts to emerge. Could Westbrook actually be a problem for Denver when the games matter most? Because as good as Russ has been in the regular season, the playoffs are a different beast. And his history in the postseason? Well, that's where things get tricky. Let's break it down. Saturday night against the Lakers, we saw a blueprint, one that could haunt the Nuggets in the postseason. The Lakers didn't just beat Denver, they exposed a flaw that's followed Westbrook throughout his career. They turned him into the guy, and that's exactly what they wanted. The Lakers' defense swarmed Nikola Jokić, doubling him at every opportunity and sagging off Westbrook, daring him to shoot. And Russ, he took the bait over and over again. Now, to be fair, he was making the right basketball play. He was wide open. But the problem? He shot the Nuggets right out of the game. Despite playing just 24 minutes, he led the team in field goal attempts, chucking up 17 shots while handing out just one assist. He finished with an inefficient 17 points, and the Nuggets got steamrolled at home, 123-100, snapping their 9-game winning streak in the process. This isn't just a one-game issue, it's a playoff trend. Over his career, Russ has put up strong overall postseason numbers, 23.6 points, 7.5 assists, and 7.0 rebounds per game in 122 playoff outings. But when it comes to efficiency, that's where things get ugly. Last postseason, he recorded his worst shooting performance in a playoff run, just 26% from the field. And this isn't new. Back in 2020, when the Rockets got bounced by the Lakers in the second round, Westbrook became the scapegoat. NBA insiders reported that sources close to him believed he was unfairly blamed for Houston's collapse, just like what happened with Chris Paul before him. The Nuggets are the defending champs, and their system revolves around Jokic's playmaking.
DeAndre Hunter is also in with Jokić.
But if teams can neutralize him by forcing the ball into Westbrook's hands, it creates a problem. Because history shows what happens when Russ is put in that position. Come playoff time, if the Nuggets aren't careful, they might just find themselves watching their title defense slip away, one Westbrook jumper at a time. The Denver Nuggets had a lot of issues on Saturday night, and to be fair, it wasn't all on Russell Westbrook. But let's be real, this is a problem we've seen before. Teams aren't scared of Russ anymore, and in the playoffs, they've made it clear they're willing to let him be the one to try and beat them. And that's where things get dangerous. When Westbrook starts firing away, it can spiral out of control fast. He's not a reliable volume shooter, and when defenses dare him to shoot, he tends to take the bait. We've seen it time and time again. Russ can shoot his team right out of a game before they even realize what's happening. So what's the fix? Michael Malone has to get creative. The Denver Nuggets are once again a force in the West, sitting at 37-20 and eyeing another deep playoff run. But while things look good on the surface, there's a big question mark that could derail their title hopes: Russell Westbrook. If the Nuggets are going to make this work, they need to put Westbrook in positions where he can succeed. Maybe that means inverting the pick and roll with Jokić, using Russ more as a cutter, or even as a screener to create chaos off the ball. But one thing is clear, if the Nuggets don't solve this, it's going to be a major issue. Teams are going to copy what the Lakers just did, and when the playoffs roll around, Denver cannot afford to have a liability on the floor. If they don't adjust, there's a real chance Westbrook becomes unplayable when it matters most. Right now, the Nuggets are debating what their starting five should look like. And this isn't just some minor rotation tweak. This could make or break their playoff run. ESPN's Tim Bontemps recently highlighted this internal debate, noting that both Russell Westbrook and Christian Braun have made their case for the final starting spot. As the Nuggets have roared back into the West's top three after a slow start, Jamal Murray's resurgence next to Nikola Jokić has been the biggest reason, Bontemps wrote. At the same time, Christian Braun and Russell Westbrook have each impressed as the fifth starter, which has some wondering who should round out Denver's starting unit. Braun has started the past 2 games. And this isn't just media speculation. NBA executives are taking notice. One Western Conference executive believes the Nuggets must keep Westbrook in the starting five. "I'd keep Russ starting," the executive told ESPN. "You can't afford to lose him, and you might if you don't."
Hand off underneath, and Najee lays it in.
He's been a big part of them with his buy-in, and you can spin it to Christian differently. "I think the collateral damage of one to the bench is much more significant than the other." That's a big statement, because it means Denver might have to keep Westbrook in the starting lineup just to keep him happy. However, Russ has had a solid season. 13 points, 6.3 assists, 5 rebounds per game while shooting 47.1% from the field, the second best mark of his career. Westbrook's aggressiveness and energy are undeniable, but his decision-making and shooting struggles have hurt teams in the playoffs before. Defenses pack the paint, daring him to shoot, and his efficiency takes a hit. Meanwhile, Christian Braun brings defense, floor spacing, and better off-ball movement, qualities that could make him a more natural fit next to Jokić and Murray in a playoff setting. Nikola Jokić, who is leading Denver in almost every major statistical category, wants the best possible lineup on the court. And despite winning 9 straight games earlier this season, he knows this team isn't a finished product yet. So here's the dilemma. If Denver benches Westbrook, do they risk losing his buy-in? But if they keep him in the starting five, do they sacrifice floor spacing and defense in a playoff series? Russell Westbrook's future with the Denver Nuggets is hanging in the balance as the playoffs approach. While his energy, playmaking, and veteran leadership have provided value in the regular season, his long-standing postseason struggles could become a major issue for the defending champions. If teams continue to exploit his shooting weaknesses by sagging off and daring him to shoot, it could disrupt Denver's offensive rhythm, especially when Nikola Jokić is the focal point. The Nuggets now face a critical decision. Do they keep Westbrook in the starting lineup to maintain team chemistry, or do they shift to a more floor-spacing, defense-oriented approach with Christian Braun? While some executives believe keeping Russ engaged is essential, history suggests his inefficiency in the playoffs could be a liability. If Westbrook doesn't adjust his game, focusing on cutting, screening, and limiting unnecessary jump shots, his minutes might dwindle in the postseason. Denver coach Michael Malone must find creative ways to maximize Westbrook's strengths while minimizing his weaknesses. Otherwise, the Nuggets could be forced into a difficult decision: benching Westbrook when it matters most, or risking their title defense by keeping him on the floor. His future in Denver may ultimately depend on how well he adapts when the pressure is at its peak. And here is the deal. This is not just a regular season issue. This is a playoff problem waiting to explode. What do you think? Should the Nuggets keep Westbrook in the starting five, or would they be making a huge mistake by not adjusting before the postseason? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA breakdowns.